Good morning, everybody. I guess I should have closed the blinds before recording this. So sorry about the glare. I'll make sure I fix that for next week. So welcome to Children's Story Time this week. I'm Pastor Brad, pastor at New Covenant United Church of Christ in Williamsport, PA. This is for the fourth Sunday of Easter. John 10, 11 to 18, the Good Shepherd passage is our passage for this week. And not only is it Good Shepherd Sunday, not only is it the fourth Sunday of Easter, but this weekend is Earth Day weekend. Earth Day comes up on Monday, the 22nd. We're celebrating all weekend here at New Covenant. We're doing a neighborhood cleanup on Saturday, and on Sunday we're having a special Stewardship of Creation worship service. And so instead of a traditional children's message and a traditional message late during the service, combining the two this week and going to be reading the children's story Old Turtle. So this is our lesson this week. Once upon a time, long, long ago, yet somehow not very long ago, all the winds and the waters, the trees and the birds and the fish, and all the beings of the world could speak and understand one another. There began an argument. It began short and softly at first, quiet as the first breeze that whispered, "He is the wind who is never still," quiet as the stone that answered, "He is a great rock that never moves," gentle as a mountain that rumbled, "God is a snowy peak high above the clouds." And the fish in the ocean that answered, "God is a swimmer in the dark and blue depths of the sea." "No," said the star, "God is a twinkling and shining far, far away." "No," replied the ant, "God is a sound and a smell and a feeling who is very, very close." "God," said the antelope, "is a runner, swift and free, who loves to leap and race in the wind." "She's a great tree," murmured the willow, "a part of the world, always growing, always giving." "You are wrong," argued the island. "God is separate and apart. God is like the shining sun, far above all things," said the blue sky. "No, he is a river who flows through the very heart of things," thundered the waterfall. "She is a hunter," roared the lion. "She is gentle," chirped the robin. "He is powerful," growled the bear. And the argument grew louder and louder and louder. "Stop." A new voice spoke. It rumbled loudly like thunder, and it whispered softly like a butterfly sneeze. The voice seemed to come from, why, it seemed to come from Old Turtle. Now, Old Turtle hardly ever said anything, and certainly never argued about things like God. But now Old Turtle began to speak. "God is indeed deep," she said to the fish in the sea, "and much higher than high." She told the mountains, "He is swift and free as the wind, and still and solid as a great rock." She said to the breezes and the stones. "She is the life of the world," Turtle said to the willow, "always close by, yet beyond the farthest twinkling light." She told the ant and the star, "God is gentle and powerful above all things and within all things. God is all that we dream of and all that we seek," said Earl Turtle. "All that we come from and all that we can find, God is." Old Turtle had never said so much before. All the things of the world were surprised and became so very quiet, but Old Turtle had one more thing to say. There will soon be a new family of beings in the world, she said, and they will be strange and wonderful. They will be reminders to us of all that God is. They will come in the many colors and shapes with different faces, different ways of speaking. Their thoughts will soar to the stars, but their feet will walk on the earth. They will possess many powers. They will be strong yet tender, a message of love from God to the earth, and a prayer from the earth back to God. And then the people came. But the people forgot. They forgot that they were a message of love and a prayer from the earth. They began to argue about who knew God and who did not, and where God was and was not, and whether God was or was not. And often the people mistreated their powers and hurt one another and killed one another, and they hurt the earth until finally even the forest began to die, and the rivers and the oceans and the planets and the animals and the earth itself, because the people could not remember who they were and where God was, until one day there came a voice like the growling of thunder, but as soft as butterfly sneezes. Please stop. The voice seemed to come from the mountain who rumbled. Sometimes I see God swimming in the dark blue depths of the sea, and from the ocean who sighed. He is often among the snow-capped peaks reflecting the sun. From the stone who said, I sometimes feel her breath as she blows by, and from the breeze who whispered, I feel his still presence as I dance among the rocks. And the star said, God is very close, and the island said, his love touches everything. And after a long, lonesome, and scary time, the people listened and began to hear and to see God in one another and the beauty in all the earth. And the old turtle smiled, and so did God. This ends our story this morning. The story begins at a time when all creation can speak to one another. And we learn that they begin to argue, and that the argument grows louder and louder and more intense until finally Old Turtle yells, Stop, and reminds creation that God is all of the things that they described. Old Turtle says soon human beings will arrive, and they're to be our example of everything that God is. But then we learn that when human beings arrive, they soon forget that they're intended to be messengers of God, and they begin to hurt each other and to destroy creation. And they needed to be reminded to see God in everyone and everything that God created. And when we do that, it makes God smile. When we see God in all things, it makes God smile. When we see God in everyone and everything that God created, it makes God smile. When we love everyone and everything that God created, just like the good shepherd loved the sheep, it makes God smile. When we care for one another, just like the good shepherd cared for the sheep, when we make sure that everyone's basic needs are met, as the good shepherd makes sure that the sheep's basic needs are met, when we protect each other and creation, just as the good shepherd protected the sheep, it makes God smile. Not destroying each other and the earth makes God smile. May we make God smile every day in all that we do and all that we say. Amen. Thank you for joining me for the story of the old turtle. Hope you enjoyed this week's message, and I hope you'll join us each and every week as we sit down for another edition of Children's Story Time. Till next week, peace, blessings, love, and prayers, everybody. Bye bye.